Hello.
Hello, let's try this out.
Yeah, I can hear you. And hopefully you're not in Echo Land, nor am
Uh,
I.
I don't hear any echoes on my end, so
Oh, good. Yay. And I was worried too because when I put in my earbuds, like I heard really faint sound and I was like, oh God, I'm not gonna be able to hear him now. But I think we're good.
all right, good.
How are you?
Absolutely exhausted.
Same.
Uh, yeah, this it's been emotionally draining, or I should say intellectually draining, trying to get these creative projects ready in the week that I have in Albuquerque. And the whole
Right.
networking thing is truly hard for me to network, but I'm doing my
Networking is
best.
weird. It's weird. Like I had last Saturday went to a Friendsgiving thing.
Hmm.
And when I started working at Spirit Halloween, store manager, and I was looking through applications, and I kept seeing people who worked in the industry, and I hired all of them because I was like, well, they all need jobs. Everybody's out of work.
Right.
And I did that, and I didn't even think about a selfish reason. But then after a while, I was like, this is probably good for networking.
Yeah.
And a lot of them said too it was good because they hate networking. But we went to the Friendsgiving thing, and it was like nothing but industry people, and so that was kind of nice to just have everybody there and not have to like worry about too much schmoozing.
Hmm. Yeah, it's
Because
something
it's
about Albuquerque. Beside it just being the land of enchantment, there are so many people here who want to keep this industry going in
mm,
Albuquerque and in New Mexico. So they're doing their part. They're doing as much as they can, like the ground troops, and they have so many networking events. Um, it seems like there's one or two a week, and
mm,
they're all like willing to help each other out. And I met with one friend who his feature starts probably in like 2 days, where he's going to be
oh
filming, and
god,
he was still, and then I was telling him about the feature that I've got some producers on to help out with, and then there was another guy there whose feature is going to start filming on December 4th, and we're all just bouncing like however we can help each other back and forth, and it's just
yeah,
a really positive community over here that way. So I really like that.
that's good. It's I think it is that way here. I don't know as many people.
Mm,
Um, so I think, especially with this job, it helped me get to know a lot more people because what I do, I'm basically like a glorified personal assistant,
mm-hmm.
and I don't deal with anybody much. I mean, I deal with like the talent or the directors or whatever, but I help them with their personal life. So I don't do anything on set. Sometimes I have to go pick up stuff, but so I don't like meet a lot of the crew or I see people in the production office, but I don't really develop too much of a rapport.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so and I don't know, I keep trying to put myself out there a little bit. It's weird because like they know who I am and they know of me, but like I don't really know them, and then that's kind of strange.
Yeah, well, yeah, I guess it can be.
Like this is the guy who does everybody's bullshit.
We've heard great things about you, kid.
Yeah, no, it's not been bad. The biggest annoyance is just like people's spouses.
Hmm.
Like I had a director whose spouse just like screamed and complained about everything. And then when I apologized to her, she was like, "Oh no, I'm not mad. That would be crazy." I'm like, "But you just whatever."
Okay, all right.
Yeah,
That sounds
but
frightening.
yeah, I know. It was all because I got the wrong kind of water and the wrong kind of kale.
Shut the f I like,
Yeah, I didn't realize there was such a thing as dino kale, and apparently I did not buy the right kale.
uh, mm,
And heaven forbid.
yeah, I don't even know what is dino kale? Like dinosaur
It's
kale? What is that?
it's a different variety. I think it's more it's almost like greenish purple, and I think I want to say it's firmer. I mean, because kale's pretty firm anyway, but I think it's got a different sort of texture to it, and I don't know if that's maybe because super food and all that, and uh, I don't know, but she was a lot of them. It's funny because it's very everything's organic and everything has to be just so. And I realized just how picky I'm not when I encounter picky people.
I've just been shaking my, you can't see me, but I've just been shaking my head this entire time, just like I can't. But that's just it.
Yeah.
So I'm picky, but in the opposite way. Because I'm doing this dumb keto diet now, I'm like,
Oh
oh,
God.
but
Bless
I
you.
never know when they're going to be like, a casting director is going to be like, all right, well, we need you with your shirt off. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, I've got to just always be on a diet, always be working out. It's fine though. It's,
Yeah.
yeah, but still, yeah, I don't want anyone to shop for me or invite me out to eat. I'm that person where I'm like, no, 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 I don't want to go out there and embarrass myself in front of all of you. I'll just,
I mean, and I don't mind it. Like most people are really cool. It's just I get the occasional like picky weirdos.
hmm
Um, so I don't know, but it is nice because it's just. I mean, I hate sitting in traffic, but I also get to listen to a lot of audiobooks
There you go.
because it's mostly just me in the car, which sucks too because it's like, you're sitting there and then of course you're eating while you're like driving and then, I gained a lot of weight doing that.
Mm.
So, and now I've lost a ton of weight. I'm like, I don't want to go back to that. So, but
Yeah.
I do once I get back to regular, we have I think a free gym membership at the studio, which is nice.
Oh yeah, that's clutch.
Uh, I was very paranoid the first time I went to the gym over there because I was like, they're gonna be all like these actors, extras, and stunt people, and they are, but like everybody just kind of goes and does their own thing. Like, okay,
Man. Yeah. I mean, that's how the gym I go to, and because I'm in Hollywood, and uh, it's always packed. It's always full of people. I hate it. I've actually set alarms so I could wake up at like 5 in the morning, so I go there as soon as it's open, so I don't have to deal with anybody. I just it's that's how much of a recluse I am. I love being in my little cave with my drawings and my comic books and my toys and my stuffed animals. Like, don't want to have to go out, don't want to network and interact with people. Um,
yeah,
yeah, it's a whole thing.
I did
Anyway,
see that you got some pretty cool. Are those comic books that you got at Bucky's?
oh, the little golden books. Yeah, that's it's real fun.
Oh, yeah. Bucky's is a weird place. Bucky's gives me so much anxiety. Like it's cool, but it's also like
Real
the first time I
redneck.
went, yeah, real redneck. The first time I went there was during the pandemic, and like nobody was wearing a mask, and I was like, like
Yeah.
this is terrible.
Were you in Texas at the time?
No, I think it was Alabama that we went.
Okay.
Yeah, because I went to my roommate helps with this thing called Play on Con, and it's like a gamers convention.
Mm-hmm.
And it's at a 4-H and somewhere in the middle of nowhere in Alabama. But you drive past the Bucky's, of course,
Mm-hmm.
so you just always compelled to stop.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, I was surprised they just had this whole rack, like a spinning rack with so many different little golden books on there. There was so many that I wanted to get. There was one of Frida Kahlo. Um, there's a couple other ones. There was like a celebrity one. Someone told me, was it just some pop star singer had a golden book, and when I saw the little Ninja Turtles and the Back to the Future pop figures, I was like, I had to buy these. And then underneath all that, I saw the Dungeons and Dragons one, and honestly, that's the one I wanted to get the most. And it was hidden on the very bottom because they're probably like Satanist Dungeons and Dragons. Um, I wanted to actually like switch them out and put them in purview of everyone because then they should be they're so rad. But yeah, that was I
Yeah,
was thinking about making that a stocking stuffer for some of my D&D friends.
that'd be fun. I've never actually played. I don't know. I'm not. I mean, it's fine. It's just I've not really had much interest, and I've tried to play some of those like tabletop, whatever. I don't know whatever you call them,
Hmm.
but like there's that villains game that's like the Disney.
Yeah.
It's like that. I just me and the role playing. How did I put it? I said to somebody, I'm like role playing in the bedroom and role playing in a board game. Just it doesn't work for me. I can't do any role playing.
So,
So
um, yeah, I started to host a game where I'm the game master. I tell them the story and I narrate what's happening and they tell me what they want to do in the parameters I give them. But it's this like collaborative storytelling device, and
yeah,
I just have so much fun doing it. It's you get to explore and you get to use your imagination, and
yeah.
um, my players always surprise me. We don't work against each other. It's like I said, it's collaborative storytelling. So we'll
Yeah.
we just try and make it the most badass night. Like we try to unfold it like a movie. Like it just
Hmm.
unravels everything and it ends up being amazing. And my friend recently, he and his friends are the guys who did 5 second films. I don't know. It's the old. It was
It
before.
sounds
Yeah,
familiar.
it's before Vine, and it was basically what spawned Vine and
Hmm.
all that stuff. But he, one of my good friends, just had a bachelor party. Instead of doing like the going out and getting drunk and all that stuff, he had us all come to a like this mansion type place that he rented in the Hollywood Hills, and I was a game master for 11 people for a one shot that lasted 12 hours, and it was
Oh my God.
it no, but it was so fulfilling. It was amazing. Like people cried at the end of it.
Oh my
Um,
God.
it
Did you like start early in the morning or how did you?
I think we started around 1, and then ended around, midnight, something like that.
That's wild.
It was an amazing time. Like I said, we had people crying, cheering. Once it was done, people
Yeah.
getting up and clapping. It was yeah, it was just like an amazing thing that you live through, and you're a
Right.
part of it. So that's why I love it so much.
Yeah. I mean, I may try it someday, who knows? I there is definitely like I refuse to what is it called? LARP.
Yeah, okay, fair enough, fair enough.
I dated a guy and he's like he was really into LARPing and then he was like, well, he's like, yeah, I just want to get you in a wizard outfit and take you LARPing, and I was like, you can want all you want, but it's not gonna happen.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know, but I mean, it didn't work out for other reasons, but the LARPing was it was the cherry on top.
Mm, yeah, I think that's a completely different animal. Still,
Yeah,
not I'm not going to say anything disparaging against it. I don't, but
yeah,
yeah.
it's fine. It's fine if it's your thing. But I don't know. No, that just didn't work out because he was kind of like it was like dating a child, and he's poly, and I
Mm.
was very, very low on the totem pole, or whatever. I don't even know. Totem pole's probably not appropriate anymore. Uh, I don't know.
But
But he had a wife and a child and a girlfriend and yada yada yada, and I was like, and there's nothing wrong with polyamorous at all, but it's just like I think it would be kind of exhausting.
yeah, I guess everyone does it a bit differently. I've known some people who are poly, and uh, yeah, I don't know. Mm.
I mean, I've dated multiple people at the same time, and it's fine, but then I always wind up picking the wrong one.
Aha.
Yeah, like the last one I chose a closeted alcoholic over the stable guy.
Mm.
But I didn't know. And then like all of a sudden, like he just was like, "Oh, I'm going into rehab," and I was like, "Oh shit."
Womp womp.
And yeah, and they still wanted to date, and I'm like, "You can't date anybody when you're in rehab. You just got to work on you."
Yeah.
And then it was even weirder, not just the alcohol thing, but like I found out after a few months that his husband had died. Like he told me his husband had died, but I thought it was years ago. But at that point, I think we met in April or we started dating in April, and his ex-husband had just died in October.
Okay.
And it was just like it was just no, but it just I don't know. That was wild.
Wow.
So yeah, I choose well.
Yeah, yeah. Wow. Oh, wow.
Yeah, I know. I totally thought like I kept asking him because like I talked to him and he just like I didn't know him well, so I didn't know what his normal behavior was.
Hmm.
So I couldn't tell if he was drunk or not. I was just like, "Are you on the spectrum? Are you on drugs? What's going on?" I just kept playing the guessing game.
Yeah.
I don't know, but yeah, I don't know. Dating's weird.
Yeah. Yeah. That's why I'm just focused on, it sounds horrible. I'm just focused on work.
I'm just focused on myself.
Yeah, I mean, really,
Yeah,
I've got things that I want to make, and
yeah,
as terrible as it sounds, like relationships don't really lend to getting those things finished. It's hard enough to finish them as it is, but if I were to like
oh yeah.
try and then give half my time or whatever amount of time to somebody else, then eesh,
Yeah.
oof.
Yeah, I get it. I mean, I've been on both sides of the coin. My ex, like the ex, like Voldemort. Um,
Huh.
um, he is an artist and a musician and all this stuff. And when we met, I was just moving to the South. I knew no one. I was needy. I was 24.
Mm,
And it was just like love me, take care of me, tell me how to live. I was just waiting, and I feel like I pretty much yokoed him to death. I mean,
oh,
not death, but yeah, I yeah, I feel like I wedged, and he blamed me for a lot of like lack of creativity, and it was a tough relationship. I mean, it was 6 years of just roller coaster.
yeah,
Um, so I can't imagine like I've been, trying to write a book and get back into creative things, and I just can't imagine like dating somebody and doing that.
mm-hmm.
I also just want to finish my book, and when I start dating somebody, just hand them the book and be like, "There you go,"
What's the book
because it's
about?
me. It's an autobiography.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, I decided that the pandemic had to be something useful. And so I started writing that. I always wanted to write my story, but then of course, your inner saboteurs are always at work, and I always just like, oh, well, who's going to want to read it, and why bother, and all those things. And then I just started writing, and it's like 300 pages. I haven't really written a lot lately because I kind of had to stop myself because it's like it's weird when it's your story. It's like, well, when do you stop writing?
Mm-hmm.
And then I wanted to tweak it more, and then I'd try and go back and edit it, but then it would be like editing it would be reliving a lot of stuff that I didn't want to.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why I think that also this podcast spawned because um, it's almost like a companion piece to that. And I may release the book, I may not, I don't know, but it's at least on the page, and it was very cathartic.
Mm,
And I feel like I discuss a lot of things about my life and things that I've written about anyway.
yeah,
But I don't know. Just if I ever do release it, I'm gonna have somebody edit it for me for sure.
yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, that way you
but
don't have
that's
to relive all those traumas and the triggers and
yeah.
things like that. So yeah. Ay, 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 ay.
And and that's why the podcast is called Tramadonna.
There you go. Yeah, fair enough.
uh, well, my friend Ricky, and I feel like I mention that every single episode, but I told him I wanted to do a podcast because I did a couple of his. He does a horror movie review podcast, and he's like, "Well, what would you talk about?" And I said, "Well, I don't know." He's like, "Well, what are you into?" And I'm like, "Well, I like Madonna, I like Halloween, and I've been writing a book about trauma." And he's like, "Tramadonna." I'm like, "Perfect."
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, wonderful.
And but I have a lot of people go, "I don't know a thing about Madonna. Why have me on the podcast?" I'm like, "It's not about that.
I like that.
It's bigger than that. It's just, I just happen to be obsessed with the woman. That's all."
Yeah,
Well, I hate the word obsessed, but I've been a fan since day one. I have 9 Madonna tattoos.
really. Give me one of your
Uh-huh.
favorite Madonna stories.
Oh, well, I did meet her in 2000 in New York. I won an MTV contest.
Okay.
And it was one of those things where it's like every time I tell it, and I have to tell it a lot because then people find out and they're like, "Oh, well, how did it happen?" It just feels like I'm lying because, like, who the fuck wins an MTV contest?
You apparently.
Yeah. But yeah, there was some commercial for it, and they let you enter as many times as you wanted, which was a mistake. Because I just sat there going submit back, submit back, submit back, and I don't know, it must have been like 3,000 times because I had nothing better to do.
Wow.
I know I was 22, so I don't know, but yeah, I was 22. But they called me and they asked me a bunch of questions, and they're like, "What does Madonna mean to you?" And like, I explained how long I had liked her, and that I felt like I was putting her kids through college with the amount of money that I had spent on her. Um, and I just remember my mom kept telling me, she's like, "Well, you're not going to win." Okay. And, they're like, "Well, we'll get back to you." And then I had a pager at the time because, I was a doctor who sold drugs.
Mm-hmm.
And I just remember MTV paged me, and I was at work, and of course this is pre-cell phones, or at least they weren't as big. And I called my friend Gloria, and I said, "I need you to do three-way MTV for me because I need to call them back." And then I called them, and they're like, "You won," and I'm just like, I I had no real reaction because I didn't really think it was real.
Uh-huh.
And then I just hung up, and then everybody was like screaming around me, and like I was like, "What just happened?" And then I was like, "I need to figure out what I'm gonna wear." Um, but yeah, and then we went to New York, and they lost my suitcase, and I got sick halfway through the trip. And when we got there, they were like, "Oh, blah blah blah." They introduced themselves and all that, and
Uh-huh.
they said, "Oh, you probably won't be able to meet Madonna." And I was like, "Wait a minute, that's what the whole commercial said. That was the whole point."
Right.
And so we were pissed off. We're like, "Whatever." But then, like, right before we walked across the street to the venue, um, they flip on the cameras and they're like, "Hey, would you rather be in front row or meet her?" And it was really obvious.
Right.
So we decided to meet her. And as I was waiting to take a picture backstage, Rosie O'Donnell walks up and she's like, "Hey, all you guys doing? Have you met her yet?" And I was like, "Rosie, you're not helping." I couldn't help it because I was so nervous, and
Uh-huh.
I brought my ex girlfriend with me, and that was a mistake. But um, she told me to calm down, and I just kind of flipped around and I said, "Fuck you, I'm meeting Madonna. I will not be calm." I mean, I was in my head, I was like going crazy,
Yeah.
but and so we lined up for the picture. She shook my hand. She thanked us all for coming. It was like a blur, and then we went and found our seats, and um, it was just like I don't really remember the show because I was just like that was so fucking wild.
Wow.
Um, and then I've encountered her manager a couple of times, and he's made me a little queasy because like one time he was filming me, and he's like, he's like, "What does Madonna mean to you?" And then I'm talking to him like I'm doing an interview. I'm not looking in camera, and he goes, "Don't look at me. Look in the camera. Tell her." I was like, "Fuck you."
Huh.
Um, and then the last time I saw him was great because I was really drunk and it was in Chicago and he was going up the stairs and I didn't smack him, but I like tapped him on the shoulder. I was like, "Hey!" And then he spun around and yeah, we had a chat, but
Oh,
it was
good.
slightly embarrassing.
Ah, at least did he
But
remember
yeah,
you?
yeah. I think he remembered me because of the tattoos. Because when he saw, I have a portrait from like a prayer, and when he saw me with that at one of the shows, he he's I turned and then he looked at it and said, "Holy shit, I have to interview you." So
Nice.
so I think he remembered, but yeah, it's still weird.
Ah, well.
And I get butterflies every time I go. It's just one of those. It's always cool to see your favorite person.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, but that's not all I'm into. I mean, I'm obsessed with Halloween, of course.
Well, Halloween's the best, so I mean that's why I
Oh,
traveled down to New Orleans, just because I want to be in one of the most Halloweeny places on earth during that
mhm.
special occasion.
And you'd be very good in Anne Rice
Yeah,
story.
yeah, it'll be fun. That little vampire thing we made, that was also fun this last time during New
Oh
Orleans.
yeah, yeah,
They got to show it over there, so some of the actors who were in it got to come and see it on the big screen, and that made me happy to they could I could share that with them, or the film
yeah,
fest could share that with them. So that was good. That was another fun Halloweeny experience in New Orleans.
yeah. What's your favorite scary movie?
So my favorite scary movies are actually the funny ones. I guess I don't know.
Oh
They're not
yeah.
really scary. So like I like Army of Darkness, Evil Dead 2.
Hmm.
I really like
Hmm.
Cabin in the Woods, things like that.
That was a wild movie. Cabin in the Woods was so
I
wild.
fucking love Cabin in the Woods. I
Mm.
also liked like Reanimator, The Thing, which is I
Oh
guess
yeah, yeah,
The Thing is kind of also like a thriller whodunit mystery with monsters involved. It's scary, but it's so much more than that. Um,
yeah.
but then I also just like,
Have you?
what's that?
Oh, have you ever seen that movie called The Stuff?
Yeah, where it was just
About
like,
the yogurt or
yeah,
whatever.
it was like some blobby type. Yeah, yeah, I saw that. Um,
That
there
was just so ridiculous.
there's this bar in New Orleans that shows like the weirdest horror movies sometimes. So I'll just sit there and I've got this thing where no matter what, if there's a TV on in a bar somewhere, if we go out to like eat and there's a TV on, I'm just gobsmacked staring at it. Um, but so it was, oh man, I can't even think what these things are. Just the old B80s horror movies, and they're amazing, and I'll just watch them, some of the dumbest stuff, and I love them to death.
Mm, yeah. Like oh god, what is it? Dead Alive, that was another good one.
Dead Alive is great. Peter Jackson.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah. Before that little trilogy he made.
Yeah, what was it called?
I don't remember. Something about something circular,
Yeah, yeah,
some kind of king of the circle or
yeah. The May Circle. No, no, that's not it. But yeah, no,
yeah.
it's just wild though to think about this guy who made Dead Alive, and then he comes into the studio and he's like, "Hey, I want you to give me hundreds of millions of dollars to adapt one of the most beloved fantasy trilogies into a movie." Me, this
Hmm.
guy. Remember the lawnmower and the chopping up the zombie? Yeah, yeah. I want to go and they're like, you know what? All right, let's. You're our guy. Sounds good.
He talked to the right people, I guess.
I guess he did the networking.
Yeah, he did. Jesus. Yeah, that's all. Like, I have a lot of people that are like, "Well, how did you get into the industry?" I'm like, by accident. And it's really who you know. I was working at Spirit Halloween, and my boss was like, "Hey, come work for me," and I said no a few times, And then I thought, well, okay, let me just interview and see. And then I did the interview, and they're like, well, are you starstruck? Do you get, weird around celebrities? And I said, no. I said, unless it's Madonna, I'm fine. And it's true. I think the only person that like I really was kind of doing somersaults in my head. I mean, I think I can say it now because it's not really shits, maybe not. I don't know. I don't know how that works.
Mm. You can always
I
edit
don't
it
know.
out.
True. Aubrey Plaza.
Oh.
That was really cool to meet her, and it was as awkward as I would ever want it. Like I went into her trailer and I was like, oh, she was like all spiderwebs and lacy, and it was like, you're dressed like I normally dress, all gothy. And I gave her her stuff, and I was like, if you need anything, just let us know. And then I'm like, I'm Nick, by the way, and she looks at me and goes, oh, you're Nick, and just stares at me, and I was like, uh-huh. And just with those big huge eyes, and I'm like, she knows me.
Cute. Yeah, I don't think you could.
Yeah,
I don't think you can have it. You'll probably get sued. No, of course you can add that. That's a great story. It's super cute.
I know. I know. Yeah, it is. Yeah, I go in there though, and I'm there to do my job, and I'm not. I know some people try and kiss people's asses and treat them like they're royalty,
Hmm.
but I'm just like, hey, I'm trying to do a job. You're trying to do a job. Let's work together. Because it makes everybody's life easier.
Yeah.
Uh, I don't know. I haven't had any divas yet, other than
Mm.
uh, spouses.
Yeah. Kale
And
and Kale
and
and
other,
certain waters.
yeah, yeah, and other assistants are awful sometimes. It's like an assistant off, and a lot of times they'll take the credit for all the shit that I do.
Mm.
Uh-huh. Like, oh
Hmm.
yeah, I did all this. I'm like, no, you didn't. But a lot of times they've been found out, so you just kind of wait for karma to take hold.
Hmm.
Oh,
Yeah,
but
geez.
yeah, I don't.
Have you ever there's a website called peterpanguy.com, and it's
Do,
and
do
it
I do I want to know?
well, so here's a deal. I don't know how this guy's like 60 years old,
Mhm.
dresses like Peter Pan, has his hair in the bottom, or maybe it's a wig, I don't know. I think he makes music. Um
Mm.
and but he's always posting like really super positive stuff, like if you don't want to grow up, you don't have to. Like I love Peter Pan, and who knows, I don't know what's going on mentally, but he seems very
Yeah,
sound of mind. He just
yeah,
like you with Madonna, he loves Peter Pan and he loves the idea of being young forever, and I don't blame him because I would love that too.
yeah.
He is a minor internet celebrity,
Mm.
and I think he may be the only. No, there's two, but I saw him on the street on Melrose and was
Mhm.
like, "Oh my God, Randy, the Peter Pan guy! What are you doing? Oh my God, I thought you lived in Florida. Do you live here now?" And he's like, "Oh no, I'm just doing some shopping." I was like, "Wow, I hope you have a great day. I love your stuff, and I think you're a great person. I think your positivity is infectious, and thank you so much for what you do. Bye."
Oh my God, that's amazing. Now
Uh,
I have to look him up.
Yeah. And then I can think of another time. I just remembered there was another time. There do you so do you have a Whataburger in Georgia? Or just
No,
Chick-fil-A's?
but I think they may be getting a Whataburger, but I know what it is.
Yeah.
I've just never had it.
So I love it. It's my favorite fast food place. Okay. And
Yeah,
and I'm in LA and I see
and it's
someone.
totally keto, right?
If you just eat the meat and cheese, yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay,
But no, I mean I
fair.
used to eat it all the time before my diet. And
Yeah.
when I had the metabolism of a racehorse. And I saw someone that had a one of the T-shirts, like it was a Whataburger ketchup T-shirt, and I was like, oh shit! And I was telling my friend who I was eating with, I was like, yeah, it's this place, it's just great, just like I'm doing now. I love it so much, blah 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 blah. So I'm like, I gotta go tell that guy he's got a cool shirt. And so I'm gonna get a drink refill anyway, and he's kind of turned around, and I tap him, and I'm like, excuse me, I just want to let you know your shirt. And when he turns around, he's a very famous basketball player from. So I'm from Houston, Texas. That's when I was a little kid. the Rockets had just won and blah blah blah. He was from the team that won the championship for the NBA. His name's Kenny
Yeah.
Smith, the Rocket. And so when he turns around, I go, "Yeah, I just want to let you know you should." Oh my god! And shit the fuck it. I just shit the bed. I was like, "Oh my god!" And then 180, just walked back to my seat.
Oh my god,
Just left him there
that's
dumbfounded.
amazing.
Did not explain to him anything. Did not just walk back to my seat. Was like, "Nope." It's just fucked up real. I could not. I got yeah. I got. I can't believe it. Like I got starstruck. I know celebrities, but this guy just
Yeah,
he's a hero to me. So yeah, just like
yeah,
ah. Anyway,
yeah.
anyway.
I do it for the weirdest shit. Like, and it's um like when somebody's like, "Oh, so and so's in this," and I'm like, "Okay," and they're like naming off movies, and they're all like, uh, like regular movies, and I'm just like, I don't know. I mean, I do watch a lot of different movies, but like I do watch a lot of indie shit and a lot of foreign movies and whatnot. So if they're in something that's like kind of arty or not mainstream, then I get excited. I'm like, oh, they're in this film, and then people look at me and blink. I'm like, okay, it's just me then.
Hmm.
Um, but I get excited about that. Like on one of the shows, Vincent D'Onofrio was on there, and I went to set, and he was like standing right next to me, and I'm like, it's the dude from The Cell, because like he had the creepy hooks and was all into kinky weird shit, but The
uh,
Cell is amazing. That's probably that and Silence of the Lambs is probably as far as I consider them horror movies, but I like psychological horror.
I'd say the Sellers. Yeah, I'd agree with that. Yeah,
It's so fucking it's gorgeous, and I wish that I think was this I can't remember the guy's Tarsim, is that his name?
the
The
director.
director?
I don't know. I'm terrible with names.
Well, he only did two movies, and it's like that's it. He did The
Really?
Cell in the fall, and apparently he ran out of the movies.
Hmm.
But I wish he'd direct more.
Hmm. Yeah.
I don't. I don't know. I can't imagine. I feel like being a director would probably be a big headache, but who knows?
I mean, there's only one way to find out. Try your hand at
I
it.
don't want to do. I don't want to try.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I don't know. I half the time I don't even like want to be near the camera, and
Mm.
when I am, something weird happens. Like one time I had to bring balloons and like flowers to set for somebody's birthday, and thankfully they weren't recording at the time, but like I wasn't sure where they were like set up, and it was in a mall. And so, I just walked with the balloons through the mall, and I wound up like walking through like the setup of the
Yeah.
cameras, and
Yeah.
I was like, oh fuck. And they're like, we're over here. Like, don't go through there. And I'm like, okay. They were filming at a hot top.
See, we'll see if there was a PA involved, they would have been able to tell you, like, whoa, 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 whoa.
Yeah, I know. Um, and then the other time I had to go, um, they were on set, and whatchamacallit, I think I had to bring somebody coffee, and I was waiting for them to finish a take, and they kept doing it over and over because they're doing some kind of stunt thing.
Hmm.
And they're like, "Oh, you need to take it over here," blah blah blah. I'm like, and I just find the person who stands still the longest, and I ask them, I'm like, "Well, where's that? And what do I do? And who's what?"
Mm.
Because I don't know. I half the time I feel like I don't belong there. I mean, not I do, but it's weird because I don't spend a lot of time. And so I was waiting for them to finish the scene and holding this coffee, and like I just noticed there's a camera on a crane, but it's like moving backwards, like at me, and I was like, I must leave. It
Mm.
wasn't going fast, but I was like, hey, that camera's moving. I should probably get out of the way.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm awkward on set, and it's fine.
I
It's
am too.
but it's only because it's yeah. Well, you probably get paid to be awkward.
Yeah.
I did see your outtake pictures today.
Oh yeah, there were so many fun things that we did that did not make it into the commercial, and that's the same way it
Yeah,
was with the last one too. These guys, they write so many jokes and they just throw them all at the wall and see which ones stick with the client. But it's
Yeah.
those commercials are a lot of fun. I hope I get to work with those people again. It's a great crew.
What was that for?
For a towel commercial, Tessellate Towels. Uh,
Uh-huh.
it's the sand-free beach towel. So they're supposed to be running them. I know they're running in Australia right now, and they're supposed to also
Yeah.
run them over here because I had to do different takes
Mm.
for Australians and different takes for Americans. And I don't know if it's been showing over here yet, but I know it has been showing over there. My friends have already hit me up like, "Oi, we saw your fucking commercial over here. Good on ya. It's funny." So yeah, it makes me real happy. That's probably one of the greatest things besides financial getting a paycheck, but
Yeah.
when your friends just like taking a picture, they're in some dive bar and they're like, "Look, you're on the telly." It's
Yeah.
it's a lot of fun. Yeah, it makes me
Yeah.
happy.
My brother and my best friend both they sat through, well, I mean they wanted to watch She-Hulk anyway.
Hmm.
But my brother would text me like every night it came on and he'd be like, "You weren't in the credits this time either." And I'm like, "I know, I started on the reshoots. It's fine, I'll be on the next one." But both of them are like, "I look for your name." Like, but it was cute.
Yeah, that's really super nice. I like She-Hulk. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was. I didn't. I watched the whole show, but I didn't really get. I'm trying to think of how long I was even on the. It was like maybe a month or two. It was like at the tail end,
Hmm.
and so I didn't really get to know anybody. And I was just trying to figure out like what the hell I was doing because I was just kind of thrown into that, and then I started doing that along with Echo at the same time, which was really confusing, and accounting really hated me after a while because I had two different production cards, and sometimes you mix things up, you know.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, accounting is yeah. I try and stay on their good side because I've been yelled at a lot.
I wish I knew who my accounting team was so that I can ask them where my money is. Seriously, I've been waiting for like 5 months for my checks to come in.
Jesus.
Yeah. It would be great if I could pay off some of this credit card debt that I've been
Yeah,
using to kind of float by on while the strike is going on.
yeah. Is that from the commercials or
It's from this last commercial, yeah. And then there's also
okay.
somehow like I did something in New Orleans for I can't remember what it's called. Um, anyway, for a BET Plus show over there, and
Mhm.
I was using a temporary address because my agents, I guess I needed to have like a local address or something like that. And
Right.
for whatever reason, all my residuals and everything like that, SAG started sending over there, even though I didn't live there.
Mhm.
And so
Yeah.
I tried to get a hold of them and tell them to send all those residuals to my house. But the strike was going on. I don't know if they've got it or they had more important
Yeah.
things to do with. But yeah, hoping I can get those two.
Yeah. That would be nice.
Yeah,
Money's nice.
it is.
Still trying to figure, like, tomorrow's my last day of Spirit.
Hmm.
We're breaking down my store, and I know that we got an email about reshoots, but I have no idea when.
Hmm.
And I'm like, please just, I mean, it would be nice to have a little bit of a break, but not too much of a break.
Yeah.
Um, and it is a bummer because, like, right before the strike happened, we were about to sign into a movie, which that's, quite a long assignment. And I did not have a gap. Like, I was just 2 years just going like gangbusters and did three shows. Um, and then the strike happened and it felt like COVID all over again.
Mm, yeah.
Like, here we go again. I guess I'll go back to Spirit.
I that's
But it made me appreciate my job though, because I mean, I do love Spirit, but it is a lot of physical work and it's very stressful, retail.
yeah. I
So
yeah, even like tattooing, people people are under the impression that I have some kind of love affair with tattoo. It's a job. Um,
Yeah,
and when I tell people I don't particularly like doing it, they're like, "Oh, but you're so good at it." And I don't know, that this doesn't seem like a good enough answer, like a good
yeah,
enough reason. I'm sure, uh, you know, a line cook at McDonald's is good at, making McGriddles, but that doesn't mean they wouldn't rather be living their dream. So when I get the
yeah,
opportunity to do some kind of acting, even if it doesn't pay, if it's good and it's like fulfilling, oh
yeah,
man, I just there's nothing like it.
yeah. It's an interesting world. It's one that I didn't expect, and it's funny because I have a lot of people tell me they're like, "Oh, I always saw you in this industry," and I'm like, "Oh, okay."
Hmm.
Um, but oh God, what was my point? I lost my train of thought, and that's terrible.
It's all right with it. You can edit this one now. There you go.
I suppose I just
I know you don't want to
yeah, we're
edit.
talking. I don't. We're talking about being good at what we do and not always liking it um and then me getting into this. I don't know. I mean, it's rewarding, it's creative. Oh yeah, I think what it was is when I first went onto the studio and when I went to um the art department, that was kind of like it felt like I went home.
Hmm.
And that was when I was like, okay, and you get those moments where you're like, all right, well, I'm doing something I should be, and I'm on the right path.
Yeah.
And that's why I got so bummed out when the strike happened. 'Cause it's like, is this ever gonna go back? Am I just gonna have to like, am I done with this?
Hmm.
And my sister asked me, she's like, oh well, I told her about reshoots and stuff. She's like, well, have you applied at other things that are non-industry related? And I said, I don't want that 2 years to be in vain. I don't want to give it up. It just feels right.
Yeah.
And I've met so many great people, and it's just the fact that you get to be like, you know, you get to play pretend and make art and do wonderful things.
Yeah.
I didn't get it until I finally saw, I first started watching She-Hulk, and I was like, well, shit, like we did that.
Yeah.
And it's different once you've like worked on something. It's like I feel like I'd pay more attention to credits and things more so now than I did before.
Yeah.
Like
Uh,
I'll stay and watch the credits because I'm like, well, those are all somebody's.
yeah. I think that's a nice thing that Marvel does, putting the like post credit scenes. It actually people will stick around for the credits, and
Yeah,
that does give the people who worked on it a little bit of recognition.
yeah, yeah. I I guess just with Marvel, it's interesting because it's like I don't, I'm not too familiar with the universe. And
Hmm.
one time I actually asked my roommate to explain it to me, and I think I just blinked at him for 10 minutes. I like it. I'm not really much of a comic person. Like I guess the comics that I was into was like Sandman.
Okay.
Um, but just the whole and it's such a huge universe that it kind of makes my head spin because
Hmm.
like I'm always like I need to know where to start. And they're like, well, blah blah blah. I'm like, I okay. So I just watch like I pick and choose. I watch a little bit, but I think it's probably good that like I'm not totally starstruck and I'm not uh you know comic book person, I guess, because it's like I don't really know what's happening. I'm just like I'm there to do my job and I don't know um half the characters, and my brother asks me questions all the time because he's super into it, and um so sometimes I'll go to him and I'm like, well, who's this person and what's that?
Yeah.
um and and then there are things, on the call sheets that have, you know, the plot lines and stuff, but it's all, I don't know. I'm just more concerned about times and locations and stuff, I guess.
Yeah. Well, you
Um,
have a job to do.
yeah,
Yeah.
I am excited about. Agatha when it comes out.
What?
Um, yeah,
What is it?
Agatha.
Hmm.
It's a spinoff of WandaVision.
Ooh,
Yeah,
really?
yeah,
I did
yeah.
not know.
You're like one of the few. Yeah, it's like all over the place. That's why I'm like, well, I probably can talk about it.
It's Agatha all along.
Yes, and everyone that was on that show was amazing,
Oh,
and
it's gonna be so
I'm
great.
very excited about it. But
I
it got pushed back. It was originally supposed to be like December this year, but everything got pushed way back.
oh, that's good. I like that.
Yeah.
Now I have
So
now I have all these things racing through my head like, what will it be? Is Mephisto going to be there? Are the kids coming back? Is this how they're going to be part of the timeline? Will Wanda get her redemption after here I am. Yeah, I'm not spoilers alerts. Well,
yeah,
should
I know these are things that I cannot talk about because of an NDA.
Oh yeah, no. I'm just saying my even speculating is giving away some spoilers, or lightly, but still, I don't want to spoil anything on the podcast. So,
I know. I'm not giving anything away. I'm not saying nothing.
oh no. I actually like wondering, and
Yeah.
that's part of the fun of it.
Hmm. Yeah, I think the internet ruined things as far as like spoilers and stuff. Because everybody like half the time I don't even have to watch a show, especially if it's something popular, because people post things about it all the time. Like I've never seen Game of Thrones, yet I know what happens on it because everybody in Facebook like posted when it was on, like every day.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know, and I don't know. I guess there's some sort of terminology for it, but usually the more popular something is, the less I want to watch it because it's just so in your face and everybody's like, you have to watch this. And I'm like, I don't.
Yeah.
I like to watch things on my own time. Like I tried to watch Stranger Things and I couldn't get into it.
No, I mean that's a very real thing. I'm the same way. I still haven't seen the
But
fucking Godfather.
oh, Godfather's good.
But I
Yeah.
know
I
it's but Godfather 2 is even supposed see, I know Godfather 2 is supposed to be better than Godfather, and I know they're both classics. I've seen the show about the making of The Godfather,
oh yeah.
which was
Yeah.
that show is great. And I was like, and I want to watch The Godfather, but it's one of those things where it feels like it's going to be such a meaty thing. I don't
Yeah.
I don't allow myself to even watch television unless I'm eating. So
Yeah.
I watch it twice a day. I'll have brekkie, watch part of a show, maybe the entire thing, and then I'll have dinner and watch the rest of it because I have so
Yeah.
many friggin' projects going on. Like I said, if the TV is on, I'm just staring at it. So I try to keep myself away from any screen time, anything like that, unless I'm working on my computer, which stuff has to get done. And if I am distracted, it's not going to be there. I've only got a limited amount of time, and I've got a lot of projects I'm trying to get ready. So yeah,
Yeah.
um, The Godfather's like 3 hours or something. It's like really long.
Yeah, I think so, depending on which cut you're watching.
Yeah. But I totally get it when people are like, you have to watch this, and I'm like, ain't got time, bruh.
Yeah, I know it's good. Just everything in its own time, I guess. Like, and there's certain things that I've never seen that I don't really even care. Like, I've never seen Top Gun, and everybody's like, "Oh my God!" I'm like, "No, I've never seen it." And everybody's like, "But that volleyball scene," I'm like, "I still don't care."
You could just
I'm like,
YouTube that one scene.
yeah. And also, it's Tom Cruise, and he's a Scientologist, and that's gross. So there's that.
Mm.
Hopefully, you're not a Scientologist.
I am, and now I'm super
Lie.
offended. Yeah, I know. I couldn't. I did go in, however, I did go into the personality test. So they make you hold like these, I don't know, metal tampons, and they're like, okay, here's some
Oh yeah,
questions.
they have a name for them. I can't fucking
Yeah,
remember.
we're gonna measure
Yeah.
your thetons or whatever the fuck. And then they're asking me like these questions, and they're like, based on our scientific I don't know,
Uh,
whatever. They're like, it says that you have low self-confidence and no
oh
friends.
my God.
We think you should change your life. And I was like, are you kidding me? I'm so egotistical. You're out of your fucking mind. And like, and you have no friends. I'm like, I've got sycophantic. Yes, I've got heaps of friends. My friends love
I
me. I
just
love my friends.
I just picture you saying you're egotistical and like flipping your hair at them.
But yeah, it was just a good laugh.
Yeah.
And then they followed me down the block. It was good. Good fun.
Yeah, I encountered a couple of them when I was in Hollywood, and I was like, nope. Like, especially, and that was like right after I watched Going Clear, and I was like, can we just like light a match next to the building? And
Well,
no, I mean,
they're taking over Clearwater, Florida now.
oh God.
They've got their
Well,
whole town they've just bought.
Florida just needs to go sink into the ocean. The only good thing about it is Disney World, and and well, I love Miami too.
I was about to say, I love Miami. And
Yeah, Miami's amazing.
I was where was I? Just recently in Jacksonville, and I had a good time there as well. It was just beautiful.
Hmm.
I just love it.
Yeah.
I just love the way it looks. It's gorgeous. Now
Oh, and
I didn't have to
I
deal with.
like. Oh, sorry.
I was going to say I didn't have to deal with all the bigots and everything like that because I was with my friends who love me. But
Right.
I know there are a lot of trash policies over there, like we were talking about yesterday.
Yeah. Yeah. All the good stuff that got echoed out. It's fine. And then I thought about it too because I was like, oh well, I should like have talking points, and I'm like, no, that's not what this is about. It's all gone. It's fine. It was just good combo.
Yeah. Yeah, we knocked it out of the park yesterday. For all those people listening to this particular episode going, wow, this is just them talking about movies and stuff, and it's so boring. Yesterday, we got into such intense discussion about gender norms and fuck
Mm-hmm.
12 and toxic relationships
And
and
abortion.
abortion, women's rights,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
now here we
Yeah.
are. What's your favorite horror movie? We
Yeah.
did
I know.
we did all the heavy lifting of the last episode, and now we're just like this is the relaxed version. This is the relaxed fit. This is what you get now. Yeah.
Yeah. It's got what is it? Elastic waist. I don't know.
Yeah, the
It's
elastic waist
roomy.
that's been
I
a
don't know.
bit it's a bit worn.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
It used to be a lot. There was more, but I don't know. But I was just like, I don't want to have to repeat, and it's like it's just silly. It's
no,
like
yeah.
I when I discovered that reality TV was fake, and it was on that MTV trip, and I remember getting to the penthouse and then asking me about everything, and it was telling me about they lost my luggage, and we had to wait, and blah blah blah, and I just remember some girl ran up with a camera, and she's like, "Can you do that again?" And I was like, "What?" She's like, "What you were just saying." And I said, "You want me to do another take of reality?" Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And that's when I realized it was all fake.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Uh,
Because it's like, who would watch it if it weren't contrived? And I mean, if it was just a bunch of people just sitting around, like, in their sweats, like, just doing nothing, and like, I don't know. It just they have to make it interesting, and then I know they encourage people, and they probably get people to drink, and like, oh, maybe we should do this. Maybe we should play a fun game. Yeah,
They have them where they're like, today you need to get into an argument. You need this today,
yeah,
and then yeah,
yeah,
I've seen it a couple times. I've been on set for a couple of reality. In fact, one of my good friends, she's a reality TV producer out in Miami, and
yeah.
so yeah, she tells me all about it. I'm not gonna give away all the secrets because I want her job to be stable, but yeah,
Oh yeah,
yeah, it's all
yeah,
it's mostly fake. It's all mostly all fake.
yeah. I know people like, oh, it's not scripted. I'm like, there may not be a script, but the content is definitely controlled.
Oh yeah, it's heavily controlled. It's just
Well, and that's why I think that what they filmed when we're in New York, that none of that ever saw the light of day, because I think that it wasn't as salacious as it could have been. Like
mm,
they interviewed us sort of, but they seemed to pay attention to different people. Like they picked like the gayest of all of us, and like we're gonna follow you because you're hip and fun and super gay.
Hmm.
And I was like, I guess I'm just boring California gay over here.
Boo, California gay. Boo. You're so
I know.
boring. What are you gonna
Yeah. Well, I mean,
surf? Fucking no, I don't know what to say.
not even that, because I'm from the Bay Area. So like, I grew up in farming community, probably 45 minutes to an hour outside of San Francisco, like East Bay Area.
Okay.
Like everybody's like, "Oh, coming out was must have been real great." And I was like, "Not really. It was 1991, and it was farming community, and
Southern Baptist.
mostly, well, yeah. I mean, well, we were raised with that. I mean, my grandfather was from the South, and so it spilled over because I don't think there was any like Southern Baptist churches out there,
Mhm.
but it was super Baptist. Like I went to Christian school, Christian camp, uh, anything with Christian on it.
Fun.
Um, yeah, but it was not fun, and even like I had mentioned yesterday, like I almost my mom wanted to put me in conversion therapy and dodged that bullet.
Mm.
So
Let's
it's
pray
just
the gay
weird.
away.
Yeah, pretty much. And it's weird how I'm glad that when I came out, it wasn't in the age of social media. I mean, it was bad enough because I came out in first period by lunch. The whole school knew,
Mm.
and so I'm trying to imagine how it would have been, with Facebook and Snapchat and whatever shit kids are using, MySpace.
MySpace.
Yeah, I
Damn.
know.
Yeah.
I still sometimes I remember my login, and sometimes I go there, and it's really weird. It's like, oh my god, like who did it? Just that was the big thing, and like, oh, you're top eight.
What is it now? I need to go, like, describe it.
Well, it's like the same, but it's almost like some internet graveyard or something. I mean,
Ooh.
people are still on it, but I don't know who. And like my page is still there and active, and it's got those annoying animated whatever the things
I
and the music
I need to
log on and
go
like,
and make a MySpace page.
oh, did you ever have one?
I need to. I am ah I'm gonna do
You're
it.
gonna single, you're
I'm gonna
gonna
bring
bring
it back.
MySpace back.
That'd be so sick. That'd be so
Where the
sick.
fuck is Tom? I want to see Tom.
I would fucking
Yeah,
love to do that. That'd be so fun.
yeah. I think I like looking back and I don't, but I think it's good because then you realize real how far you've come.
Mm.
Um, it is kind of terrifying, and that's why like writing the book was hard. But then it's like I'm here, um, and a lot of people will be like, oh, well, what if you did this or shoulda, woulda, coulda, or what would you do differently? But if I did something differently, I wouldn't be here.
Right.
Um, I just can't really imagine because like even when I moved out to the South for my ex, um, if I hadn't moved, it would have been completely different. I mean, I was living at home at the time. A year later, my mother died. I can't even imagine like living at home when she died and
Oh
all.
man.
I don't know.
Yeah.
So there are a lot of things that push you. Um, and I used to be very angry about the whole ex situation, and I used to feel like it was his fault. Like I moved out here for him, and he, of course, would always go, "Well, I never asked you to come out here," and I was like, "Thanks."
Hmm. Hmm.
That's always good to hear. Or when we broke up temporarily, I went back to California, and he's like, "I was gonna ask you to move in with me." I'm like, "You were not,"
Hmm.
and he never gave me back the damn ring. I bought him the coolest ring ever. I was gonna propose, I didn't, but then I wound up like throwing it at him, and then whatever. But all I wanted was my video camera and the ring. Uh, yeah, I don't care about the video camera anymore. I
That's
mean, it's fine. He's in Texas somewhere. just like the song.
Oh, yeah.
I have people that look him up because like I have him blocked on stuff, and my boss is even like, I want to see what your ex looks like. I'm like, okay, you can find him on Facebook. Um, I don't know. It's just one of those of like I feel like your first big X is, even though it sucks, it's very important because it
Oh, yeah.
you learn a lot.
There's a lot of growth usually. I can't speak for
Yeah.
everyone, but hearing your story and then, relating it to mine with the Toxic Ex, there was a lot of
Mm,
growth, and I'm appreciative for things that I was able to realize throughout the course of the relationship.
yeah.
It helped me
Um.
grow.
Oh yeah. And with me, I realized that. I mean, where it differs there is I realized that with both me and my ex, we were kind of both the bad guy,
Mm.
because it just was not a good fit, and you always want to blame somebody. I mean, obviously with your ex, you can blame her because she was fucking crazy, and
Yeah.
I'm mad that I don't want you to relive it or retell it, but that your story with the cops and everything was just amazing.
Well, yeah,
I know,
that's
but
that's for
it
another
is.
time.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. I mean, it's exhausting to rehash stuff and like read, but uh,
Yeah,
much
it's,
like
it's honestly it's one of the
exes are
reasons.
exhausting.
Yeah, it's one of the reasons why I'm glad we're doing the relaxed fit today, because it was really exhausting yesterday, and I don't know if I
Yeah.
have the emotional capacity to go through all that again.
Oh, and
Maybe
I
like
don't.
in a month or two we could try and
Yeah.
revisit some of those things that we spoke on, but for
Yeah.
now I'm
Oh
relaxed
no.
under the
Yeah,
cozy
and that's good.
covers.
Nice. And,
Uh,
and I don't want you to rehash anything, and I get it. I mean, it's a lot. Um. So yeah, everything in its own time, and it doesn't even necessarily even need to be on another episode. It's just one of those
yeah.
things. Like people will just wonder now.
For those of you listening who are, just gleaning what we may be speaking of, we tried to have this yesterday, and there was a bad echo. It's unusable, the audio. You wouldn't even be able to sit through it. It's terrible.
Yeah,
It's ghastly.
I
So
tr- I tried, and I
no,
tried
and
to
you
listen
did.
to it, and I was just like, huh,
Yeah,
huh.
yeah, it's abhorrent. It's abhorrent, but you did your
And
best. Um,
yeah,
and it's just
and I
too
even
bad.
sped it up, but then we sounded like chipmunks or something.
Yeah,
It just
it's
it,
just
it took away the echo, but it was just like
yeah. The only thing that you'd be able to do is probably put it into one of those AI readers and just have a fake voice. You just
oh
transcript
god,
what all the words were, and then the AI reader would just read the transcripted words, and it
oh
was
my
just
god, I may have to do that just for like a wild one-off episode.
just get
Just find the most
Hugh
robotic
Jackman,
voice ever.
just get Hugh Jackman's AI voice to read mine. That'd be great.
Okay, I'll work on that.
or Chris Hemsworth.
Oh my god. No, we'll do Gilbert Godfrey. Just
Affleck.
kidding. Oh my god. Yeah, no, I don't think so. Gilbert Godfrey. Didn't he die? He
Yeah,
did
yeah,
die.
he died.
R.I.P.
Yeah, Gilbert
Yeah.
Godfrey, the legendary comedian,
Yeah.
uh, getting fired from Affleck for doing a too soon joke about 9/11
Oh
in
yeah.
in 2020, I think it was, or something. And he's like, too
Where were
soon
you?
during
Where were you during 9/11?
I don't know. When did that even happen? I think I was in a coffin
Really?
somewhere. I was like, uh, yeah.
2001.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wait, how old are you?
69.
Hot. You look good for 69, you know?
That's because,
It's that it's your the merman skin or
yeah.
jeans or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Even though you don't.
Mermen don't wear jeans, actually. No, it's
Yeah. Wait, what are your pronouns again?
it and that. Oh,
No.
he Finn. Ah, wow, over my head. What a terrible guest I am. You set me up, and I
Oh,
just
I
fucking
did.
did not
It's
get the
fine.
layup.
You just like looked at it go up in the air and looked at it go down on the ground. You're like, well,
Yeah, yeah,
that's
yeah.
fine.
What was that for? What? What?
Wait,
Uh,
I always tell people I'm like my pronouns are call me. I'm like I don't give a shit what you call me as long as you call me. I guess I don't
oh,
know.
cute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also for the folks at home, I discovered this one on a native hair care commercial where he played a merman.
Yeah, if you see that in uh, charming ad with
It is. It's real good.
I think it's cute as hell. Um,
Yeah.
the other like seriously, it was just a really great experience, and I drove down to
Yeah.
San Diego to be a part of that. I slept in my car. I didn't tell them that, but you had to be a local
Oh God.
hire, and
Yeah.
there's no way I was going to pass on it. So, but I do that over here
Yeah.
too. Like the people that I meet in New Mexico, I came over here because one of my friends was like, "You got to come out and check the acting scene over here," and then I ended up crashing on couches, sleeping in my car, doing what I have to
Yeah.
do. Because, like I said, this is the dream, and I'll do what I have to you know do my best in it, and
Yeah.
I'll make myself available for the people who have interesting projects they want me to be a part of, and it's inspiring me to live my best life, and hopefully the work that we make can inspire others.
Yeah.
I honestly think like the film industry and the entertainment industry, and this is one of the things that I was getting a little upset with when I'd go and these comments, these people, the haters, I guess you'd call them, they would complain that the SAG actor strike, they'd be like, "Oh, why don't you just shut up? You just want more money." And I'm like, where would you be without the art that these people create,
Right.
the media that has probably shaped you as a person?
Yeah.
Um,
It gave a lot of people personalities who didn't have them.
exactly. It teaches us lessons. It gives us people to relate to. It helps us identify, and it just I can't believe there were so many people that were just like saying these horrible things about those that were striking to get their fair share.
Yeah.
And I mean, but that is I like to be able. I know these, you'll have people who go out and they'll do the 9 to 5, and it's grim and they hate it. They come home. One of the few things they have to look forward to is that show that came out this today, or like the movie they've been putting on hold because they really wanted to watch it, and it's an escape.
Yeah.
And it's this
Yeah.
magical thing that I'm just so in awe of, and I
Yeah.
absolutely love. I love the end product. I know it can be grueling to make the thing. It's hell, like editing, casting, all of it, directing. It could be so
Mhm.
much trouble, and you butt heads, and there is dramas behind the camera as well as in front. But damn it,
Mhm.
once it's done, holy shit, so much
Yeah.
fun. It's so great. It's so fulfilling.
Yeah. That's why I tell people I have creative ADD because like I just being creative, whatever, it's just it fuels your soul, whether it's making music or movies or drawing or painting or writing, um, even photography. It's just there's something about it that is very fulfilling and nurturing.
Hmm.
Just that process of creativity and it's just that end result and just being proud of that and being able to inspire others because that's the main reason why I was like, well, fuck it, I'm gonna write this book and then fuck it, I'm gonna do a podcast because I'm like, if there's one person out there that's like, okay, and they hear something I say and I inspire them, what have you, I feel like I've done my job as a human on this planet.
Yeah, leave the world a little bit better than when you came into it.
Yeah, I did once have a drag queen tell me that she started doing drag because of me, and that was really cool.
That is really cool.
Um, I used to perform, but like as kind of like gender fuck, androgynous, whatever,
Mhm.
and my stage name was Boydana. And yeah, I saw them in a club once, and they said, I started performing because of you, and I was like, holy shit, I'm like, that's cool.
That is fucking
Um,
cool.
it's it's just nice to hear, and it's just you never know uh, what kind of effect you have. That's why it's really important to be very careful about what you're presenting to the world,
Yeah.
and just don't be a shitty person.
Yeah. So I made a religion based
Oh,
off of, it's called Wild Stallions Ministries and the Disciples of the Excellent Adventure.
oh my god, I love that.
And
Excellent.
it is absolutely excellent. We have a Facebook page and everything. And you
Oh
only
god,
have your two commandments, and that is be excellent to each other and party on.
yes,
That's it.
that's
Because
amazing.
the first one pretty much takes care of everything else. And the second one
Right.
just reminds us to have fun.
Yeah.
And so I have a quick Bill and Ted story too.
Of course.
So I was in a terrible house fire and
Oh shit.
third degree burns that fused my right leg into, like, if you crick your index finger, it's like a 90-degree angle. That's
Hmm.
how my leg was, and the
Oh
skin
my
had
god.
melted from my thigh onto my calf, so I couldn't bend it past that. And
Jesus.
I was in the hospital, and every day I was like, I don't know, like 13 years old. Every day that the nurses and the doctors would come in and they would take like a wire type sponge type thing and they would scrub my wound
Ugh.
because new tissue would be growing on it. So I had these exposed like nerves that were dying and they had to basically scrub them away. It was painful. I
Jesus.
broke the hospital chair, the hospital bed that I was in because it was so excruciating. And I was only 13. The strength that it must have taken to do
God.
that. But
Yeah.
one thing, this one escape that I had was like, I don't know, it was like, what was those old movie channels like TNT or something? They
Yeah.
for that month, I guess they would just keep playing Bill and Ted. So Bill and Ted would come on like 3 or 4 times a day or whenever. It would just keep coming on. And I absolutely loved seeing these dudes who were so positive throughout everything.
Hmm.
And it's why,
Yeah.
here you go, it's why my hair's long. It's
That's
why
funny.
I like rock music, I think, maybe. Like, we're talking about media influencing who you become.
Oh yeah.
This
Yeah.
movie helped me get through this traumatic experience, and it helped influence who I try to be, or who I
Right.
do my best to be. And that's someone who is trying to be positive and, share these type of things, share goodness with the world. But so then, when I hear the third movie's coming out, I'm in Australia,
Mm.
and they've kind of been like playing with the idea that, oh yeah, they're toying it, flirting with us, like, oh, we're gonna have a third movie. But they were in the Hollywood Bowl. Alex Winter and Keanu Reeves were like, we're making it. It's gonna be made. And I immediately I got a hold of all my agents. I was like, whatever you gotta do. I need to be in this fucking movie. Whatever you got to do, get me a role, let me audition, find out what I need to do, etc., etc., etc. Oh yeah, yeah, okay, okay, John. I'm not a big actor. They're not going to be able to find me anything, but I don't care. I'm telling them anyway. I can't wait for them anymore. I end up getting agents. I find out with the filming. They're filming in New Orleans. I get agents in New Orleans. I fly from Australia to LA, buy myself a car, drive from LA. Meanwhile, on Instagram, messaging anyone I know who might be involved in the film industry out there, like, hey, what's going on? How do I have to? I don't care what I have to do. I'll be a grip. I'll be a PA. I'll get people waters. I don't what like. I need to be a part of this. My name needs to be on the credit of this film that has shaped my life. So I'm
Hmm.
driving over there, texting people at rest stops, trying to figure out what's going on. Finally, I get a hold of someone who's working on the film. They're doing wardrobe, and they say,
Hmm.
"Here is the site. This is the casting agency that you need to go through. They're posting stuff every day. Um, this is how you get on." So every day, rest stop, casting. I'll submit to everything, whatever. I'll be everything, and it's a bunch of historical figures and stuff. Like, yeah, I could be a Genghis Khan, whatever. I'll do it. Um, and I'm going there. I end up staying in New Orleans for like a week or two, just every day submitting, sleeping on a couch, submitting, nothing. And then the last day, they're like, okay, this is the last day. We need demons, and I submit, and I hear nothing, and I'm like, fuck. So I was like,
Mm.
okay, well, you know what? That's all right because I gave it my best. I followed my dream, and I have absolutely no regrets, not a one regret. So I'm driving back. I
Yeah.
drive back to Houston, and still top of the world. I'm just happy they're making it. And
Mm.
I'm like, you know what though? I'm just gonna go ahead and check. I know they said it was the last day of casting, but I'm just gonna go ahead and check that casting site one more time and see if there's anything there. And so I do, and there is. And it's Roman soldier, something, the Pharaoh, some other few roles. And I'm like, I'll submit to all of them. And I don't expect anything because, I've done it all before. And so
Yeah.
I put my computer away and start packing up so I can hit the road. And I'd say about 10 minutes after I submit, I'm getting a phone call, 504 number. And that's area code for New Orleans. And I'm like, oh my God, hello. Hello. Yes, this is the casting company. We saw that you submit for the Roman soldier, and we were wondering if you'd be able to come in for a fitting this afternoon. It's about a 6-hour drive away from where I am now. And I'm like, oh, I'm actually at work right now, but I could come after work if that's okay. Yeah, that'd be fine. Can you get here before this time? Yeah, I'll be there right away. Hang up, speed all the way
Oh
to New
my God.
Orleans, get there an hour early. They put this armor on me. The armor does not fit for shit. The
Okay.
helmet, like the points of the helmet, are going into my temples, causing me severe pain. But I will not
Oh
let
my
that
God.
stop me. I will not be like, yeah, I can't do this. Yeah, I'm in a little bit of pain. It's a bit of discomfort. I'm just gonna, if you don't mind, I'm just gonna go back to LA and back to Oz. It's fine. Um, no, so I take it. And then they're like, okay, you're the Roman soldier. We go out. I remember the first day, um, I'm right next to Keanu and Alex, and Death comes out
Yeah.
and just walks right up to me in character. Hello, how are you? Just talking. And I'm like, I'm great. I just flew from Australia to be a part of this. And he's like, what? And I tell him a bit of the story. And he's like, that's mad. That's great. And I was like, yeah, this means a lot to me. Sweating. It's like 115 degrees out, just sweating in this polymer plastic just suit. They actually had a team because I was there for a week. They had a team eventually who were so like the wardrobe team was so they had my back because I was in pain all the time, and I'd come out
Yeah.
and it was like when they took the helmet off, you could see the warping
Oh
heat
Jesus.
signature come off me,
Yeah.
and so they would all put me in front of the fan, and they were all so lovely and taking care of me and just a great time. But I got to meet the writer of Bill and Ted, and I told him my story, and then he brought
Oh
me
wow.
over and introduced me to the director. It was
That's
it
amazing.
was incredible, and I just wanted them to know that they had shaped my life that way, and
Yeah.
it was an inconsequential thing that I was there.
Y- Yeah.
So
That's amazing.
yeah, and then after that, COVID hit, and I got stuck in America, like literally.
See, you got too much good stuff, and then the universe is like, all right.
Well, I mean, to be honest, uh, I know you said like you wanted to make something positive happen from the pandemic, and
Hmm.
um, I know it was like so many people. There's a lot of tragedy there, but I think I mean that's how the book came about. That's
Yeah.
I was able to make pitch decks for a few of my animated TV shows that hopefully now that the book is done, I can go and make the animated trailers for and try and use those to pitch the shows themselves. But I put that foundation in and I was able to work on these projects, and that's kind of what set up this habit of mine to focus on the work that I want to put out there in the world. and
Yeah.
and it came from my not just wanting to sit on my ass and I mean, not saying that's what people were doing, but like a lot of people were listless and looking for things to
Yeah.
do. And I just put myself into my work. I was like, well, I don't. This is what I'm going to do now. And
Yeah.
so I'm grateful, just like our toxic relationships. I'm grateful for that.
Yeah. And definitely since none of yesterday actually happened. No, it was all a lie. No, just plug your book for a minute because I want people to know
Right.
about that because I think that's important.
So yeah, I have a book that initially started out as a way for me to troll my bigoted family because they're very prejudiced and homophobic, and so it was a way for me to troll my family by asking my female presenting friends to send me pictures of themselves that I would then recreate to fuck with my family online because they followed me online, and then they would gossip about what they saw there behind my back and make up speculations about my sexual proclivities and just all kinds of rumor mill spreading, and I didn't know about this until my mom called me up 4 in the morning freaking the hell out. um, and so once I started doing that, um, I started asking questions because I was doing them respectfully, because I've seen people who would do recreations like this, but they would do it with cheek, it would be like, haha, look, I'm making fun, it's silly. And I was
Yeah,
and I was doing
yeah,
my best to honor the models because I didn't want I thought that would be disrespectful, especially when people are
yeah,
sharing this like to be part, like, yes, please, recreate this.
yeah,
And then the responses I was getting, at first I was very afraid you to put something in like that because a lot of them like were tasteful nudes that you're used to
yeah,
seeing female presenting people and women put out stuff like this. But
yeah,
for me to do that, it was nerve wracking. There was a lot of anxiety. Um, I was like worried that people were going to say a bunch of hateful things that damaged my pride or ego or whatever like that. But it turns out most of it was very supportive. But then at the same time, the people who were supporting would also say how hilarious it was. To which I would ask, why is this hilarious? Is it
yeah,
because I have a peen and I'm doing
yeah,
poses that normally people without peens don't do? I mean, like, I'm not just being, like I said, I'm not being disrespectful. I'm not being
yeah,
cheeky. And so then it made me start asking, why can't someone that presents male do something to, uh, like advocate or appreciate or just flaunt their
right,
beauty?
yeah,
And so when I started asking those questions, that's when I had like trans non-binaries and trans people wanting to be part of the book, and then I would start asking them, what does gender mean to you? And the answers they gave
yeah,
me were just heartfelt and beautiful. And then it started getting me to delve further into gender as more of a social construct and sex and gender being
mhm,
different. And then I started researching more of that. And I don't know if we talked about this yesterday, but like debates that I've been in with people after when I'm trying to explain to them what the book is, and say, for instance, that I've had someone who was like, "Well, what if I identify as a 6'4" black guy?" And I was like, "Well, as it turns out, if you want, you can have a surgery to be 6'4." What they do is they put poles in your shins, and then your bones will slowly grow over the poles and then attach themselves back again. They can also do it again, once again, in your thighs, and then you can take a bunch of, what is it, melanin or melatonin for your skin,
yeah.
melatonin. If melanin,
Melatonin,
yeah.
obviously.
Okay, so you put the melanin, and you just have darker skin tones, and then you can be black as your skin is concerned, and then you can be 6'4". But then you got to ask yourself, what is black? Because, oh, but then it's a socially thing, because
Right.
then you see people from Nigeria who don't really relate with people who are like from, I don't know, Compton. They're,
Yeah.
so then what do you mean by that? Are you just being like racist now, or are you just being socialist, or I don't know, like. And then I had someone else who was like, uh, about the gender thing. They were like, well, and there's always things that I'm not going to be able to answer because I'm not an expert in it. But they were like, well, what about those that identify as woman, but they were born with a penis, and then they want to go into women's sports? And I was like, honestly, I don't know. It could be good for the women's sports. Did you ever watch women swimming before someone assigned male at birth decided to start swimming in the sport? Or,
Yeah.
like, to be honest, I would like to see everyone on steroids and just go and ape shit. That'd be those are the sports I want to see. Remember, remember when all the records were being broke, and we found out it's because they were on roids. Well, everyone was watching the
Yep.
sport at the time because it was amazing. We're like, look,
Yeah.
how is this all
Yeah.
happening? I think you should just be able to drug yourself to the moon and just go nuts. Just have fun with it. But yeah, that was a bit above my pay grade. But and then you have other people that are like, oh well, there's only the two genders, and it turns out that, I mean, like, there's like 46, 47, I think it's 46 different ways our chromosomes can even line up. That's why we're not all
Yeah.
7 feet tall with beards down to our knees and hairy asses, because that's why some of us will have more quote fingers, effeminate features. It's because the chromosomes line up
Yeah.
in different ways. And then we also have intersex people who were born with both organs.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and and then and then you hear the people who are arguing with, and they're like, well, I don't care if I don't care what surgery you have. If you're not able to have a child after this, then I don't care. You're not a woman. And then I'm like, well, then what about
Oh my
people who are
God.
born with the right genitalia and they just can't have babies anyway? Does
Yeah.
that mean you don't think they're women, even though they identify as that?
Yeah.
Like, just your fucking argument is shrill.
Yeah.
And so these are things that people are trying. When I'm telling them about my book, I will have them argue these little opinions of theirs at me, and I'm like, let's think about what you're saying, though. I think you're just reciting, like, I don't know, neo-fascist Republican talking points that you heard off of Fox News or something back at me. But if you really think about the things you're saying, like, let's just be real. Uh,
Yeah.
uh, but yeah, at the end of the book, like, I do go on a few diatribes throughout the book, and like, I brought up, how it's only been socially acceptable for women in the Western world to wear pants within the past 70 years. And things
Hmm.
like in 2000, I think it's 2012 or 2013, France just got rid of a 200-year-old law that banned women from being able to have pants, wear pants.
Hmm. Yeah.
Still illegal in Tucson, Arizona for women to wear pants, but it's more into the guise of cross dressing. And then we go further into cross dressing into Florida and the South
Right.
now, and how all these things are coming up, and how there's like 400 plus anti LGBTQ plus laws that are trying to
Yep.
be pushed around the country. And that's one of the reasons why I wish I knew how to promote my book, because I really, I want this to get out there. I want people to read it. I want people to
Yeah.
see me presenting as I do, saying the things that I'm saying, trying to get people just to fucking think and
Yeah.
and accept and see that these people are out there, and we're here. And I mean, I identify as non-binary, but I don't have a certain trauma associated with it. It's because I've there's a really great I just kind of I didn't quote him directly, but there was a really great article that a gay man wrote when he was talking about. I think it's because I had a topless model, and we both posed topless. But when I posted it online, I blurred out both of our nipples because men, or those that present as male, can show their nipples on social media and stuff
Right.
like that, but women are not allowed to. And then it goes into how that is basically an ownership that men or patriarchy puts over them, because they're saying that does something to me. It sexually compels me. Like, I want that. I hunger for your breasts or whatever. And because that, you have
Right.
to cover it up because I can't control
Yeah.
myself. And it was a great piece that this gay man wrote. And I don't know if it was just an online post, but basically it said, look, I am a gay man that goes into the gym where all these hunky fucking dudes get naked and change out in the dressing
Hmm.
room. And you don't see me just going around and sexually attacking them, because I
Yeah.
control my fucking urges and I'm not a
Yeah.
fucking monster.
Yeah. Yeah.
And for you to put that on somebody else, like, that's your, like, you're making me feel way and that's your fault. Like, no, I can control
Well,
myself.
it's like when people say, when they talk about, when women are raped, or whoever, it's like they like to blame the victim because
Yeah,
they're like, oh, well, what were you wearing?
exactly.
And that's why, I mean, not to get all super uber personal, but like I was raped when I was younger, and I was stoned and I was drunk, and I for the longest time I felt like I did something to cause that, and
Hmm.
I feel like that's what, uh, especially women, that's how society has portrayed them, and um the whole it's just a giant cornucopia of crazy. I mean, it is ownership, it is double standard, just how gender they don't like this. It makes people uncomfortable seeing male presenting people in such a state, because it is something less than in their minds to be a woman, or to be woman like, or even quote feminine ish. Um, and it makes them feel uncomfortable, but then also I think it makes them uncomfortable too, because they're afraid that they might actually find that attractive or beautiful or something.
Right.
And it's just, it's who give the shit, it's just, I wish people were able to just be themselves and be unique and authentic, and not have some asshole um yelling how wrong it is, and trying to tell everybody how to live their lives.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we
So
that's another point I don't mind, revisiting right now during this conversation. But we talked about that, how a lot of these people, these hypocrites and these bigots are usually living under the trauma of some societal thing that's telling them they can't live out their freedoms, and because they can't and they see other people that do, they get upset, and that's why they have this hatred that's focused toward this group of people that they really want to be a part of, they want to be included in. But
yeah.
and I know, like, I spoke on, and I mean, like, a lot of the reason why I am such an advocate for, like, non-binary and like gender gender equality and gender rights and stuff like that, is because I do realize that there's a lot of trauma associated with it. And we talked about this a little bit yesterday, where um, if you do present male or something like that, and you do something like you want to read poetry or do art, or
Hmm.
paint your nails, we talked about that yesterday.
Yeah.
You can get bullied and harassed and physically assaulted,
Yeah.
because you are, like, not conforming to your gender role. And then I know it doesn't happen a lot, but I know some of the people that I've talked to who were assigned female. A lot of their trauma comes from their being sexually abused,
Hmm.
and of there is almost like, I can imagine it would almost be a bit of taking ownership back when they throw off the shackles of gender oppression, and they're like, I'm not a fucking woman.
Yeah.
Or, but then it's also fluid. So if they want to do some fem stuff and be, doll themselves up, that's fine. But they're something unique. They're themselves, and they're not gonna, just sit down and take it anymore. And I like that. I like the idea of being who you truly are, instead of being who you think you should be because you are assigned these roles.
Yeah. I think that's why I've been so an advocate for people and all walks of life, all, gender identity, sexuality, what have you, because I was so oppressed growing up, and I was told what I had to be and who I had to love, and any deviation from that was, either a sin, or I was outcast from, once I did go to public school.
Hmm.
Um, it's just important to me. And I mean, at the time when I was a kid, I thought, oh, people will like me and accept me for who I really am. And, that went the opposite way. But I don't really want a lot of, especially kids, to go through that. And it's hard enough being a kid, but when you're having all these thoughts and feelings that are different from the norm, and you're told that it's wrong, it's just, that's, no one deserves to grow up like that.
Hmm.
And I think if we can create a healthier, more accepting society, I mean, I don't know, I feel like we were getting to a little bit better place, but then Trump was like, hey everybody, if you're an asshole, you
Yeah.
can do it in public now, you don't have to be quiet about it, and
Yeah.
that just made it worse.
Yeah. Yeah.
um I just, yeah, and it, I don't know what it's going to take. I definitely feel like dismantling. the Republican Party might be a good step
Mm,
because it's already imploding upon itself.
yeah. Yeah.
Um, I don't know, but none of it. It's just it's hard because it's like I don't know what. I just wish people would understand people more and take the time to actually like I was raised Baptist and I was told, basically love the sinner, hate the sin. My mother was advised to take me to conversion therapy, all that. But towards the end, my mother became a bit more accepting. Like I'd go out to a gay bar and be like, "Mom, I'm going to the bar," and she'd be like, "Pick me up a lesbian," and it was just funny.
That is pretty
And
funny.
she was able to joke about that. We were able to like, talk about things,
That's good.
but it just if people would act, I mean, because she realized that hey, this is my kid, and
Yeah.
because I told her when we'd argue about it, I said, if you don't figure out a way to somehow accept me, you're not going to have a son. And it was really hard to say that, but I mean, I think she raised me to be that strong, so I
Hmm.
can say that.
Yeah.
Um, but if just people would take more time to understand people, and that's why, like, even if I don't agree with somebody, it's like I want to talk and kind of figure it out. But I mean, to an extent, of course, there are some people that I just can't with. But I think a lot of it is because they are not willing to meet the other party halfway.
Hmm. I will say,
Uh,
going back to a little about what we spoke about when we were saying about media and how you're able
mhm.
to put out works that people can identify with. Yesterday, we also kind of spoke about how I was a big advocate for more diversity in the casting, and even though that may mean
Mhm.
I don't get cast as many things, I am happy that there was a Black Ariel. I am happy that there are trans and non-binary people being like, dude, have you seen Our Flag Means Death?
Oh my god, I love that show so much.
The most brilliant gay pirate, beautiful fucking love show. Everything. I love it so fucking
Yeah,
much. I love everything fucking. It's the
and
most charming little fucking show. But
you know,
I love that things like these are being made because that's what I believe is going to help acceptance. Because it's not going to come from the
yeah,
fucking old cunts who are fucking on their Fox News and hearing the talking points of these people who are basically paid to spread hate. It's going to come from the
yeah.
people watching the fun shows, the good people. I remember still, I did get into an argument with somebody. It wasn't yeah, I guess so. It was a buddy of mine who I respect. And he said something like, I'm tired of all this woke culture. And he's like, the fucking mermaid and da 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 da. And I was like, you know, if you really do love the Little Mermaid, the original animated, it's not like they're taking them away and burning them. It's not 1984. You could still go watch that one if you want. But when I see
Right.
videos of little black girls who watch the
Oh yeah,
trailer for the first time and see a black Ariel and they just cry, that's
yeah.
beautiful.
Well, because it's basically it's inclusion, but it's also like that's telling them that they're important and they're
Hmm.
somebody, and then they're worthy of being shown and being celebrated and being out there in the spotlight.
Yeah, back
And
back.
for too many years, it was only just one type of person.
Yeah, crack dealer number four, or pimp number two. Yeah, it's like
Yeah,
usually they were the thugs and the villains, and it's good to see them be scientists and
yeah,
mermaids and superheroes and everything like that. Like I love
yeah,
seeing people of color and diverse peoples be the heroes and the ones
yeah,
that we deserve to cheer on. So
yeah,
yeah, and that goes back into saying that's why I think the things that we do, the things that we make, that's what's going to probably have that empathy. Because I,
yeah,
I remember, like, my mom's a bigot, and she's still a bit of a bigot, but she's changing.
yeah.
She would watch.
She's a sweet bigot.
Yeah, she's one of those sweet bigots. Like, I'm like, Mom, you're being a racist or something right now, and she's like, oh, sorry. Anyway, but like, she'd be very anti. She was a very homophobic, and
Yeah,
then she started watching, was it Will and Grace, or I think it was Will and Grace,
yeah,
and then maybe How I Met Your Mother, because Neil Patrick Harris is on it, and then Big
yeah.
Bang Theory, like shows like that, and
Right.
she would start falling in love with the art that they're making, and I'd hear, I could see the shift. Like I'd come and visit every year, and I could see each time it getting like her defenses going down a little bit, like the wall was crumbling, to where
Yeah.
now at least she's like, oh no, I love him. I just don't want to see them kiss. And I'm like, well, I'm sure they don't want to see you kiss either, Mom, to be honest. But I mean, at least we're getting somewhere.
Yeah,
um,
no, totally. Like I had a conversation with my sister one time, and she just was like, she's like, you know what? I don't care what you do in your bedroom. She's like, I just don't want to hear about it. And I'm like, I don't want to hear about it either with you. So we just agreed.
yeah,
And she's like, it's not that you sleep with men. I just don't want to hear about my brother having sex with somebody. And I'm like, ditto.
but that's the point you can bring up. Where we're like, when did that become the thing where that's how we greet each other? Like, hey sis, how's it going? How was your weekend? Oh, by the way, do you want to hear about my having sex? Like, I don't think.
Yeah, no, I know families that do that. They talk about like sex with their brothers and sisters and their parents, and I'm like, what?
No, no, no.
Yeah, no. I was the immaculate conception. They did not have sex, you know.
Yeah,
That wasn't a thing.
yeah, I don't even like talking about it with my friends. I guess I'm a prude, maybe, or just
No.
reserved.
I told I totally talk about it with my friends because, I don't know. I'm not as, I guess, sexual as I used to be, but I mean it's still,
Yeah, you
I
dabble.
do.
Yeah,
Yeah, I do dabble.
yeah.
I'm not as like Samantha or Blanche from the Golden Girls as I used to be, but Um, oh, but I mean, back to like representation.
Mm,
Like when I came out, I actually didn't want to come out because I did not feel that I was welcome in the community. Like
mm,
I didn't see anybody like me, and I was just like, okay, well, I am not, I guess, that fabulous or whatever. I mean, I'm my own version, but it wasn't until I saw My So-Called Life and I saw Wilson Cruz on there, and he was this character of Ricky, and he was this like kind of alternate queer wearing eyeliner, and it was just like that spoke to me, and that was the first time that I actually was like, okay,
mm.
you know, there it is, and that just kind of, that was a shift.
Okay.
And really growing up, I wasn't really allowed to watch a lot of that because I think my mother was on to me. Like I really wanted to see Madonna's Truth or Dare documentary,
Mm-hmm.
which was so okay, but I wasn't allowed. And well, Madonna is why I know about the gay community anyway, because like nobody, like I had no outlet, and then when I kind of had to sneak, and then when I finally was like sort of came out of the fandom closet and discovered this, here was somebody telling me that I wasn't a freak and that I was worthy and it was okay and I could be myself, and somebody who's not only been an ally but was in the trenches with everybody. It's
Mm-hmm.
like that's one of the biggest reasons I love her, because she is like, pardon my French, but one of the biggest fag hags ever. And I can use the F word, thank you.
Yeah, you get a pass.
Yeah,
You get a pass.
yeah, I know.
No, but that's
But
that's that's great.
it is very important though. I mean, and that's why I'm happy, when things like The Little Mermaid, and it's not even, they're not trying to desecrate the original. It's just that just happened at a time where it was just sadly extremely white,
Mm-hmm.
and nobody cared about representation.
Mm-mm. Yeah,
So
and I think it
it's
had a lot to
important.
do with was it uh a boycott of the Oscars that a lot of people of color did, because they were like,
Oh
we're not being
yeah,
represented, and that's fucked. So I'm not going to come here and
yeah,
sit and watch all you white people get awards and pat yourselves on the
yeah,
back when we're out here working just as hard as you, and we want
yeah,
to make something for ourselves. So yeah,
yeah,
no, I thought that was great, because I mean, as it turns out, oh, and that's another thing. Uh, the people that I hear, the anti-woke people, are like, oh, I don't want to see all these trans and gays and da da da. And I'm like, they exist, right?
yeah.
They are part of your world. They're here.
Right.
What the fuck? It's yeah, they're being represented because it's real life that you're seeing, in storybook form.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is actually a thing. It's just.
Well, and they want it. People want to talk about grooming, but the thing is like I was groomed to be a heterosexual.
Hmm. There you go.
That's what I was taught. The society, church, everything. You have to get a girlfriend, you get married, you fall in love, blah, blah, man, woman, man, woman, man, woman.
Yeah,
So that's what I call grooming.
that's a very good point. That is a very, very good point.
It's not the other way around. The gays aren't like, oh, we got another one. They're just like handing out toasters left and right.
You won't be cool if you don't sleep with someone with the same sex. You want to be cool, don't you? You won't get into heaven.
Jesus. Well, yeah.
Could you imagine that
Yeah,
too? Like using that as your talking point. It's like, if you don't do what we say, you're gonna burn eternally.
no, that's exactly what I grew up with. Exactly. Like, and especially after I came out, I just remember going to church and I remember sitting there and they'd talk about homosexuality and I'm like, did my mom slip the preacher at 20? Uh, so like, I don't know, and it was just all hellfire and brimstone. And I even got to a point one time when I prayed to God and I was like, all right, I'm gonna level with you. I'm like, if what I'm doing is so abysmally horrible and wrong and awful and it's a sin, give me a fucking sign.
Hmm.
And nothing. And I always used to ask my mom, I'm like, why would this even be created? Why would God create it if it's a sin?
Right.
And why is this way? And she'd be like, oh, well, it's the devil's influence and blah, 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 blah. I'm like, no, no, no. And it just like, nobody could really give me a straight answer.
Right. Yeah, there was a really good I don't know if he's a preacher. I think he was a preacher who was talking to some state forum, because I think it was about legalizing gay marriage. And you may have seen this,
Yeah.
but he started reading, and it was a very hateful sounding speech. And then he stops after he said some pretty heinous things. And then he's like, "Oh no, wait a minute. This is actually a letter that so and so congressman, Senate leader, whatever, wrote about interracial marriage. Oops, I got the wrong one. Wow. Whoops. Okay. Yeah. No, this is from 1960. Uh,
Oh,
but then he goes on to be like, no, look, check this out. God's infallible, right? You'd think that if God were to make gay people, he did it on purpose. Yeah. There's gotta
yeah, exactly.
and he's basically, he's like, love is love. Let them get married. And this was a preacher, and I was like, fucking good on you.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's always what I've wondered. It's like why, okay, so God created everything, and they're like, "Oh, God created Adam and Eve, not Adam and Steve." I'm like, "God created all of it if we're going by what you're saying."
yeah,
You're a fucking moron. That's the thing.
yeah. All that being said,
I
I
don't
am
know.
not a Christian. My family, they did their best. God,
Yeah,
God's bless him. Like I said, I've got my own religion.
I know. And that sounds way better. Somehow I dodged the bullet. I'm the youngest of three and I was not baptized. And so I guess I'll just keep on sinning.
There you go.
I mean, I tried really hard. There was when I was younger, like I was, my first concert was Amy Grant and everything was Christian this and Christian that, and I wanted to believe in that. But
Yeah. Well,
after a while,
you know what they say. If you ain't sinning, you ain't winning. They didn't
who's
actually. I
they?
just made that up. Me, they.
No, I like it though. That should be part of your religion.
Yeah, I don't know about all that.
I need to look that up now. I mean, you just have a Facebook. Is there an Instagram too, or just Facebook?
It's just a Facebook, yeah. Oh, yeah, I
Okay.
think it's just Facebook. I may have made an Instagram, but I'm not sure. Yeah, I don't update it much. I just made it just for fun. I was going to see if I can get some
No.
kind of tax exemption from it. That'd have been nice.
If only. I mean, crazy people like the Scientologists
Scientology's
and
a
this.
religion. Why can't I mean that guy had a lot of money to start
I
out with.
know. Well,
Boy,
I know, but now that twin flame bullshit, they're considered a religion and they're tax write-off and bullshit, whatever. I'm like, great, or tax free. Um, so I guess if you try hard enough and you have enough followers, maybe who knows.
yeah, I don't think I'll be able to get many followers online.
Oh, well,
I'm already worried enough about just so many, yeah, everything. I'm worried about everything. Um,
Well, that sounds positive.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Everything's terrible. No, I'm just kidding.
Boy, it really is. Like, oh man, I've got a lot of people that I genuinely love who are Jewish and
Yeah,
are afraid of the hate crimes that are coming their way because of what's going on, obviously,
yeah,
and uh, and they have no voice in this race. They're like, I don't think it's yeah, and
yeah,
they're having to worry about getting hate crimed against, and then some of them are also trans, so they're also worried about doubly, uh,
yeah.
because now that this new election cycle is coming out, the Trumpers are trying to fervently show their support for this fucking criminal who's somehow still going
Yeah.
to try and run.
I
Absolutely.
know, and the thing is he can run from jail if he goes, and I'm like, that's just I don't know.
Yeah.
And I do have to say one thing: those documents that they're trying to find, they're buried with Ivana. Just look in there. He
Man,
did that on purpose.
yeah. So you can't dig her up. Yeah, they
Yep,
but wouldn't they didn't they actually see that happening?
I think so.
Yeah, like I want to say it's been documented. I this look I nope, that's a whole other
Yeah,
show.
I know. That's too much. That's too much. I don't look not straight. But yeah, they whatever. And the sad thing is, it's like I like Biden. I don't love him. I feel like he's just been kind of a placeholder. I wish we could have Obama back, or even Michelle Obama, or even Oprah. I would love Oprah. I would love Mother Oprah to be president.
See, I don't
So
know. I'm I don't believe in government. I'm a cynic.
yeah, I know. But
Um,
I mean, if we're gonna have to, let's have somebody better.
yeah, no, I definitely want that. We need better choices out there. Um,
Yeah,
I can't agree.
because like either side isn't looking real good. I'm like, I don't. I fear for next year, and we'll see. But I swear to God, if he gets in the White House again, I think it may be time to move. I
Yeah.
need to get a passport now.
You know, it's even more frightening is you have so many other world leaders who are like, yes, he's the best. It's,
Yeah.
it's just terrible. Yeah.
Mm.
Yep.
Oh well.
What a
Fuck him.
yeah. Running on the 2 hour mark. What a good thing to
I
kind of.
know. Let's end on Trump. No, let's not.
Yeah, we can't end on that.
Um, everyone needs to go check out his book. It's called "Dude Looks Like a Lady."
Yes, my book is Dude Looks Like a Lady, and if anyone's interested in purchasing it, it is found on Dude Looks Like a Lady book.com. If you
Yeah,
don't put the book
that's
in, it's a
very
completely
important.
different website. Uh,
Well, also didn't wasn't there something where they were selling them on Amazon, but they were like,
so yeah, there were some counterfeit copies, and someone actually did buy one
yeah,
of those, and she got it and sent me a picture, and it's just all blank pages.
oh,
But we got that taken care of. I'm actually
oh, that's
going to
good.
be for the Quote Fingers Black Friday sale. I'm going to make a like a little pocket-sized version, like a smaller
Nice.
version, and it's called the is it the super soft itty bitty dude looks like a lady? Oh no, it's the itty bitty dude looks like a lady super soft edition. That's what it's
Oh
called.
my God, that's amazing.
It's
Don't
soft.
you have a calendar too?
Yeah, the
No.
calendar we just released.
Okay.
People bought those on the Kickstarter, and that's why I bought those. I've lost so much money on this book. um,
Yeah.
uh,
I'm gonna have to buy a book and a calendar. I don't have a calendar for 2024,
there you
so
go.
I'm
There
gonna.
you go. Yeah, you could buy that through my website, but it sends you to a link to buy it somewhere else. Um,
Yeah.
if Yeah, I guess if you buy it from me, I can just send it away with a book and it'll cost you the same. I don't know. I don't know how this all works. I'm not very web savvy, but I was somehow able to make myself a web page with a store on it that works mostly. And yeah, boy, yeah, yeah. This is. But now the next thing
I
I'm gonna
like
work
it.
on is more promotion and trying to get the word out there because I do want this book to be in talked about maybe on Associated Press or some queer friendly magazines or articles and stuff like that.
Well, I'm gonna do my best to whore you out.
I yeah, appreciate it. Yeah, just I really do. Like I think it's important, and there are some
Yeah.
typos, and I am going to have a second edition of it because I did. Uh, I was just in such a fervent rush to get some of this stuff out. I go back and read it. I'm like, that's a bit longer tooth. I could have edited that down a little bit. Yeah, I made that more concise. But no, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm proud of what I made, and uh,
Yeah.
I want people to be able to read it and share it.
I want people to do that too. So here we are.
Here we are.
And also, if you ever wind up in Atlanta and you're filming and you need a couch or a spare bedroom, so because we do film a lot out here, just putting that out there. Oh no, did you go away? It can't end like that. I don't know where you went. There
So
you are.
as it turns out, if my wait, hold on.
Your screen?
Yeah, if my screen ends up going to kind of like hibernate or whatever, it cuts out the recording.
Yeah.
So I've been having to
Yeah.
I've been having to keep my finger on my phone.
Oh damn it.
It's all right. So anyway, yes, couch. Thank you. Yeah, no, I'll have to introduce you to some of my film friends out there as well. I've got my buddy Shane
Yeah,
out there.
totally.
Shane does like
Nice.
he did like the Queen of the Damned, like
Oh
a
yeah.
bunch of art stuff with that. My friend Dom and Kat, they did animation for Archer. I don't know what they're working
Nice.
on now. And yeah, no, it'd be great.
Yeah, totally. Well, thank you so much. This has been good. This
Thank
is
you.
I'm it's still, yeah, I mean, yesterday was amazing. This has been really good. I mean, I'm not going to say it's amazing, but it's still, we made like a lot of good points, and I'm very, I'm just happy to have you,
I think we
and
ended
I'm
up
happy that
steering
you
it toward the end. We got it to where it needed to be.
yeah,
Before it was like I
yeah,
said, it was relaxed fit, but then we got into it. You could probably just edit
well,
out
and
that
I'm
first half where we're just like, yeah,
yeah.
movies are cool, man.
No, it's fun too, but that's what I like. I like the conversation and gaining wisdom through conversation, but I like, it's fine to have fun and joke and talk about silly things, but like eventually you get down to the real shit,
Yeah.
and I think that's the point of all this.
Yeah.
So
Well,
I appreciate your willingness to do a part two, and
I had a great time. Thank you for having me again. Thank you.
yeah, and we'll totally be in touch, and yeah, thank you much.
Thank you. Have a good night. Good night,
All
everybody.
right, you too.
Bye.
Bye.